Is now on Moorlands Radio Sports. We thank you for coming up. It's been a difficult afternoon. I guess it's been a difficult game to watch, Mr. Baker.
Yeah, it was always going to be a difficult game. They're a decent side. They're well organised, well coached, know what they're doing. And if you're not on top of your game, that's what can happen. And when you get one of your players sent off so early in the game, then you're likely to win them.
Let's clear that one up then. No complaints about the sending off or the foul. Ollie had given the ball away early in the move, and then obviously as an attempt to get back, he's gone into the back of the player. Last player, red card. No complaints.
No complaints. That's what players do. Even at the top level, they make a mistake and they follow it with another mistake. How many times have I said that to you?
Loads.
They're seasoned because they panic. I've got to make up for it. Well, make up for it, defend properly, stop the lad getting in behind you. That's the way to make up for it.
Little bit of a disagreement between me and Dave on the way that Trafford set up. I thought they were set up with three centre-backs pushing wing backs on. Dave thought it was a flat back five. It certainly became a flat back five when they went 2-0 up.
Well, I said to them, you'll be playing against five at the back, not three at the back, with three midfield players in front of them, with a 9 and a 10. So we knew we were going to have a lot of the ball, even with 10 men. We had a lot of the ball. But then you've got to be clever. You've got to move the ball quickly, switch to get the ball into midfield, switch it to the full-backs. He plays forward quickly. That didn't happen. All Keenan did in the first 20 minutes was whack it on their three centre-half heads. So he wasn't with it. He'd obviously not listened in training on Thursday night. But when we went 1-0 down from the penalty, then you've got a dilemma. You've got what do you do? I always try and keep as many players, particularly when you're losing the game. You can't go to 4-4-1 because you're just defending and hoping to catch them on the counter-attack. I prefer to keep more players up the pitch, which we did, and I thought that was working fine. We sacrificed a man in midfield, but to do what we wanted to do, that's the way it had to be.
Yeah, and you could see that from here. That it was obviously going to be somebody in midfield sacrificed, and it ended up being Ross. But the tactics played with you, or played in your favour, because you managed to get that goal, that great cross by Keenan from the corner. Gricey does what Gricey does best and bullied Edwin into the back of the net, and then you must have some hope.
Very much so. And we said at half time, but we haven't got to go gun-go. We went to a 4-2-3. I wanted Billy and Mark to sit in there, and so we could play to them and draw their midfield players out and play into the three strikers. But as I said, I thought we played too long in the second half. Scott and Billy in particular, they were aimless long balls. And because you've only got 10 men, if we don't win the headers, they do. They pick up all the loose balls, all the knockdowns, so you can't sustain any attacks. So that was a trap we fell into, and we were a little bit narrow with our forwards, but I didn't mind that. But I wanted to get some width from the full-backs, and Keynes in the end up, his last three balls into the box, and I've just said to him, we're measured. We're really measured balls and caused problems. Lewis didn't give us as much down the right hand side as Keynes did, so we weren't able to make as many chances.
And the third goal again, fairly to clear the ball, and it falls to one of them, and he hits it high into the roof of the net. But even then, it was sort of 53 minutes, and you're thinking, you've got the time, but then they really did set back, and it was a case of, look, we've got this 2-goal advantage back again, and we're just going to play our time.
They were quite happy to do that. And
why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they? Exactly. The 2 goals to the good, and we weren't quite good enough. Didn't play well enough. Didn't combine. Didn't make enough passes to cause them enough problems to get back in it.
Well, I suppose if there's a positive to come from anything today, it's that every team in the playoff spot. I mean, Macclesfield have won, Runcorn and Linney have won, and all the rest have lost. So if it was ever going to be a day to lose, perhaps this was it.
That's not a positive to me. Might be to our supporters and to you. The positive is that Rob's got a little bit of playing time, and we'll get some more on Tuesday. Grice is, I thought Grice was fine. He fought hard up there and did well. Not enough from our other two strikers today. Danny had that early shot with his left foot, which was a good effort, but apart from that, I can't remember him or Tom having many efforts, which isn't good enough. I'm trying to think of another one, but can't.
But I mean, we talk about teams like Trafford, and they're a good club, they're a well-run club, they're nice people up there, and they come down. And you look towards next weekend in City, Liverpool. A lot of these teams, they've not got anything to play for. This is their, they come in a stadium like this, and there isn't many stadiums like this at this level. And it's almost as if they play final mentality.
It is when when you're playing teams at the top of the league, they do raise the game. There's no doubt about it. As I said, there's no mugs in this league. There's certainly no mugs as managers. These lads here are good. They're good at what they do, and they've got young players, good players that listen and do the jobs. And today they warranted the 3 points.
We noticed the crowd getting on the back of the referee in particular. I mean, we know we had no problem in the decision that he made. He got absolutely right, but he didn't really seem, again, of the quality that you would expect at this level.
He was inept, I'm afraid. From early on, Mark getting a bad challenge from behind, I think it was pretty obvious to most people.
He'd got to go through Grocott to get to the ball.
That's right.
It's got to be a foul.
That's right. Let play go on, and then one of their lads got injured and he stopped the game. Maybe that was because the ball went out of play. I'm not sure. But no, he didn't cost us the game, as I say every week. But in fact, I thought second half he favoured us, gave us decisions, probably trying to make up for his first half performance. But no, he wasn't great. He wasn't the reason we lost the game.
We saw a couple of players struggling towards the end. Scott Warren was helped off the pitch, and Mark Grocott might have a knock. What's the latest on that?
Well, I don't know about Scott. Mark had a bit of a knock, but one or two a lot of them ran themselves into the ground to try and get back into it. Didn't play with the quality that I would like. Well, they ran themselves into the ground. Obviously, we need Scott to be fit because we lose the other one for I don't know when that
probably
is.
One game.
It'll be one game.
Next week, I think.
Is it? Yeah. Right. Well, he needs to apologise to his teammates because he cost us the game today, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we know we had a little bit of a chat with the referee. Seemed to take an age to come off the pitch, so we obviously felt it was quite harsh. But maybe he was perhaps the only one in the stadium that did think it was harsh, because he was definitely the lap man.
Yeah, no complaints.
So what's the looking forward to the cup game in midweek? Are you tempted now just to shuffle the pack and bring some fringe players in? And
I was going to do that anyway, Tony. I'd pick the team for Tuesday, provided we lost no players today, and anybody that didn't start today will start on Tuesday. That's what we've got to do. That's why these players are here, to play football, and I've got to give them some football, and all those that didn't start will start on Tuesday.
Thanks for joining us, Neil, as ever. That is Neil Baker, the manager of full time. At some point we haven't done that yet, but your thoughts on what Neil said?
Well, he said what has been said by other officials of the club, that the penalty was a penalty, and that was it. It was a red card. It was a red card, and you can't do anything about that. He also sort of said what had been said about Mark Grocott, that it was a dreadful tackle from behind and should really have been penalised. It wasn't even penalised as a foul, let alone deciding whether it was a yellow or a red card, because it was certainly deserving of some sort of card. So I think he's quite philosophical, and I think he realises his side wasn't playing very well. They didn't play well. Let's be fair. They didn't create any chances, did they? I know that they did set up as a 5, The wing backs sort of try and get up, but they weren't getting up very far. What did really change, though, was the fact that Trafford made it a 4. There weren't 2 up front any longer. That's what they started as.
Yeah, Burke definitely dropped deep, didn't he?
But what I keep on saying is that really and truly, they were frightened a little bit, and their defence wasn't that brilliant, you know. It was the back 3, the centre 3, weren't so brilliant. They were getting in each other's ways. They made sure they blocked everything they possibly could. But against a side which is at top form, which Leek can be, they wouldn't have survived. But Leek didn't create anything. They created little or nothing this afternoon. They didn't want to start gung-ho. Quite right, they shouldn't start gung-ho. But they started off in great form in that second half. They came so close to getting an equaliser. But really and truly, I keep on saying, if Trafford had played as they started, just keep the normal shape, especially once the 3rd goal went in, they could have won by more. And it showed that in the end, I mean, I know there was tiredness in the Leek defence, but really they were being completely overrun and weren't really dealing with what they needed to deal with.
Fair enough. Right, that's it from the analysing of this game. We're going to come back with the full-time scores next.